What is good, LAFC faithful? It's time for an impromptu episode of One More Sleep. And I know what you're all thinking. Wait a minute. What is Scarf doing? LAFC doesn't have a match tomorrow. How can there be a One More Sleep? You're absolutely right. LAFC does not have a match tomorrow, but LAFC2 does. And I know we normally don't do these for LAFC2, but LAFC2 has a US Open Cup match tomorrow, and they, not LAFC, thanks Don Garber, not LAFC, but LAFC2 will be defending our 2024 US Open Cup title. Welcome to a little One More Sleep mixed with some Defenders After Dark, and I know you guys are here for it. If anybody is going to the match tomorrow, I've got some information regarding how much tickets are and parking and all that other stuff. This is going to be a fun one, albeit a relatively short one. But if you're headed out to Cal State Fullerton tomorrow, to Titan Stadium, where the match is at 7:30 tomorrow evening, this will be a great listen on your way so you can get all up to speed for what the heck is going on for LAFC, LAFC2, and the 2025 US Open Cup. Ben, thanks for hopping in the chat. Thanks for everybody else for joining. Want to remind everybody at the top, the match is held tomorrow, US Open Cup, Titan Stadium. On the campus of Cal State Fullerton. Tickets are $15. At least that's how much the tickets were when I picked up two of them on LAFC.com. And I do want to remind everybody, Cal State Fullerton does charge for parking on Wednesdays. That's what I have been told. So expect some sort of a charge for parking, and tickets are about $15. Lechero, I'll talk about that in just a quick second. Thanks to Don Garber and his infinite wisdom, LAFC will not be able to defend its 2024 US Open Cup title because apparently his solution, instead of fixing the problems with both salary and scheduling and everything else, Don Garber's like, no, we'll just limit the teams that can play in all these other tournaments so they don't get overextended in that way. That is a terrible idea, Don Garber. And if you all know how much the Scarf, absolutely loves the US Open Cup, it kills me that our first team cannot defend this. But our boys for LAFC2 are coming to the rescue. You know it's my favorite tournament, so I'm excited to talk about the US Open Cup. The first round of the 2025 US Open Cup starts tomorrow at Titan Stadium at 7:30. And you might be thinking, wait a minute, have we ever even played in a first round game? No. MLS clubs normally start much later in the US Open Cup, usually third round or even fourth round, but not MLS Next Pro clubs like LAFC2, even though we're technically the defending champion. LAFC2 is not the defending champion. So that's about it in terms of why we're doing what we're doing. Thanks, Don Garber. Now, before you think like, oh, LAFC2 has no real experience in the US Open Cup, while this is technically LAFC2's first ever US Open Cup match tomorrow, the boys from LAFC2, at least those that are still there from 2023, do have US Open Cup experience. We certainly remember Eldon and the kids traveling up to Monterey Bay to take on Monterey Bay FC in what was an incredible US Open Cup. I believe it was a third round match. 120 minutes was barely enough to decide it, going home or winning on PKs against Monterey Bay FC. It was mostly LAFC2 kids, mostly LAFC Academy kids. And again, that was 2 seasons ago in 2023. After that, of course, LAFC takes on Galaxy in the 4th round of the US Open Cup, and they rolled with that same lineup of mostly teenagers and Eldon Jakupovic. Obviously, we know what happened in that one. Ricky Pooch celebrating like he actually did something meaningful, beating us 2-0. That was us playing the kids. Obviously, in 2024, it went very differently as LAFC wins the US Open Cup, my favorite domestic soccer tournament. I mean, I absolutely love the US Open Cup. So for us to be able to hoist that trophy, just an incredible night, but not able to defend it. But let's take a look at how LAFC2 has done so far this season. In 2025, LAFC2 kicked off their voyage 2 matches ago. I was at the first match where they raced out to a 3-0 lead and unfortunately couldn't hold it against Vancouver Whitecaps 2. They give up all 3 goals in the second half en route to losing on PKs 4-2. So they got the 1 point for the home draw, but not the extra point for winning in PKs. That is only, by the way, an MLS Next Pro rule that will not come into play in the US Open Cup. So we unfortunately drop tie the first match of the season for LAFC2 after looking very, very good. I really love Matt Evans. He's a kid that I'm going to talk about in a second. Adrian Obowo, Jude Terry, Alec Hughes, lots of big names. But again, giving up a 3-goal lead, not a good look in your first match of the 2025 season. They were able to right the ship, however, recovering nicely in their second match, also at home. It was actually the first DOS Derby of 2025. Yes, they are no longer called Galaxy 2. They are now Ventura County FC, but they are still Los Gros no matter how you cut it. And LAFC 2 took out Los Gros 3-1, also at Titan Stadium. So they've had 2 matches already in their MLS Next Pro season. They've also had 2 matches, both those matches coming at Titan Stadium. So it's a place that they are now very, very comfortable playing in. LAFC2 led into battle by a couple of familiar names. Midfielder Jude Terry and striker Adrian Wabowo, not officially on the LAFC2 roster, but on LAFC's first team roster. But they have been getting plenty of burn down at Cal State Fullerton with LAFC2. We know that both of those guys have yet to play for us on the first team, but again, looking very, very good in LAFC2. Adrian Wabowo scored LAFC2's second goal of their first game, that 3-3 draw-loss thing against Vancouver Whitecaps 2. And Jude Terry has 3 assists through the first 2 matches of the season. I think this kid is going to be very, very good for the big club when he finally gets a chance. They have a few more weapons to deploy tomorrow. I'll have to take a look to see if Matt Evans did get called in for Guatemala. I'm unsure, but let me give you a little history on Matt Evans. He'll be wearing number 70 for LAFC2 if you get to watch him tomorrow. And he scored an absolute banger. In fact, MLS Next Pro's goal of the week for the first match day. All he has done when he's been called into Guatemala's youth teams is that he has 9 goals in 17 youth national team matches between the U17 through U20 levels. He is very, very good. There's also kind of this tall, lanky forward, number 39, Alec Hughes, who, just is a lot faster than he looks in person. He puts himself in excellent spaces. He's a big, tall kid. He's got a goal in each of LAFC2's first 2 matches of the season. Definitely somebody to watch up top. We also have a new keeper. I know we've been used to it being David Ochoa over last year anyway, but it's 20-year-old Cabral Carter will be in between the pipes for LAFC2, and a name that we're relatively familiar with, Brian Moyato, the 19-year-old now. He was like 16 when he first started playing with LAFC2. The 19-year-old will potentially team with Jude Terry in the midfield. Got a question in the chat. Heading out there from the South Bay, it usually takes me about 45 minutes to an hour or so, depending on traffic, and there's probably going to be some traffic getting out there tomorrow. So leave early. Remember, the match is at 7:30, but it's on a Wednesday, and getting to the campus of Cal State Fullerton, not the easiest thing in the world. Let's talk real quick about FC Arizona. That's right, FC Arizona. No, it's not Phoenix Rising. No, it's not any of the other clubs that we might play that are also, I don't know, based in and around the greater Arizona area. I don't even know other clubs that are based in and around the Arizona area anymore, as Tucson FC is no longer a thing. That's one of our previous Open Cup foes in years past. But FC Arizona began play in 2017 as part of the NPSL, the National Premier Soccer League, essentially part of U.S. Soccer's fourth division, the fourth rung down on the pyramid, which, by the way, is one rung lower than the MLS Next Pro is considered, which is in the third division. The third division also includes, for example, USL League One. USL League One is the third division as well. So clubs like Forward Madison, one of my favorite clubs for sure. You've got the first division being MLS, second division being USL Championship, and then the third division, USL League One and MLS Next Pro. And roped into all of that in the fourth division is NPSL, the National Premier Soccer League, which is where FC Arizona plays. They don't begin their 2025 season, at least according to their schedule. They don't begin their 2025 season until April 13th. So I guess let's talk about how they did last year. They haven't announced anything about their 2025 roster. You can buy a scarf on their website from last season for $13, which I might have already done, but you can't find much out about their roster. So here's the deal with FC Arizona. Last season, they finished 7-2-1. That's 7 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw in the NPSL, making it all the way to NPSL's national quarterfinals. The NPSL is broken up into, I believe, 4 regions. So when you make it to the national quarterfinals, that essentially means that you're one of the top 4 or 8 teams in the entire NPSL. They lost to eventual NPSL champ and one of the coolest stories in the 2024 U.S. Open Cup, El Farolito. And yes, that is a group of Mexican restaurants up in San Francisco that serve fantastic mission-style burritos, which I learned all about. I was able to have a burrito from El Farolito just this last weekend when I was up in San Francisco. Super excited to be introduced to that. And I had a burrito from there, so it was really cool. I was like, oh, this is like the soccer team, U.S. Open Cup. It was really cool. They had a great run last year. They made it all the way to the 3rd round of the U.S. Open Cup last year. El Farolito, the NPSL championship side. They beat Portland Timbers 2 in the U.S. Open Cup. I think it was a 2nd round matchup last year to make it to the 3rd round. So pretty cool that El Farolito was something I got to try out. Great. That's kind of like, and I know I'm a white guy from Southern California, but I'm going to throw out what I think is the Mexican restaurant equivalent to El Farolito, which is, it's not really fair because El Farolito does these mission style burritos, which I learned all about. And it was a whole thing because that's like an actual style of burrito. And there's like beach style burritos here in the Southern California area, but it's like El Tarasco for anybody that's familiar with Southern California Mexican restaurants, says the white kid born in Torrance, raised in Lawndale. There you go. We've got a great question in the chat, by the way. If LAFC2 make a deep run in the Open Cup, can first team players make an appearance? Kind of silly, but I get why you're asking it. I'll say this, LAFC players have and will make appearances, just most likely, obviously, not first team players that are part of the first, I think, 21 or 23. There's a way that the roster configurations work where if you're in a certain number, and you can go look at the roster report for LAFC, you can see where everybody kind of stacks up. You have to be in the lower tier of the LAFC roster to be able to play in these games with LAFC2, which is why we've seen players like Jude Terry and Adrian Wabowo already this year playing with LAFC2. So kind of a cool thing that, yes, we can do that. So we'll see how that goes if we make it, when we make it, hopefully out of the first round. Again, like I said, finding information about FC Arizona, damn near impossible for 2025. I don't even think they've maybe even completed all of their tryouts or have decided on a full 18, 20, 25 man, whatever roster. They're considered semi-pro or semi-professional in NPSL, so it's a little tougher. They're also under new leadership as of January 23rd with a new primary investor. One of the only things that I can find out about them is that they did have a goalkeeper. They did have a goalkeeper selected in this year's MLS Super Draft by New England with the 18th overall pick. That's about it in terms of information that I could find about FC Arizona. But you know what? I'm trying to give you everything that we've got. One more quick thing about tomorrow's venue, Titan Stadium on the campus of Cal State Fullerton. Titan Stadium has previously hosted US Open Cup matches before. Unfortunately, it was for the team 13 miles down the road from LAFC. Carson used it as its home pitch for all 4 of their home victories on the way to the 2001 US Open Cup title. A whopping 4,195 fans attended their trophy-winning victory against the New England Revolution back in 2001. I mean, look, if we get 4,195 fans to a US Open Cup match at Titan Stadium, I'd be absolutely shocked. In fact, if we can get 495 fans tomorrow, I think it'd be pretty incredible. I've been to, I would say, maybe 3/4 of the LAFC2's matches over the first 3 seasons. There's not a ton of people there, so it'd be really great. Tickets are only $15. There will be a fee for parking, but it could be fun. Guys, come on. Get out there, support our young boys as they are trying to defend the US Open Cup title for LAFC. Lots of great talent will be on the pitch, and I have no idea who will be on the pitch for FC Arizona. We'll have to see. No idea. But what I do know is the match is tomorrow, 7:30 p.m., campus at Cal State Fullerton, Titan Stadium. Tickets are $15. I'm pretty sure you can stream it on US Open Cup or opencup.org or whatever the US Open Cup's actual website is, as well as LAFC2's YouTube channel. I'll be down there. So make sure if you are there at the match tomorrow, come say hi. I'm sure we'll be able to find each other for sure. There were plenty of tickets available, but come support LAFC2. For everybody in the chat that joined, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. We had Omar Campos in the chat, hanging out for a little bit. Kick a Ball Pod, Genuine Cougar, thank you so much. LAFC Vet, and of course, Lachero, Ben, love you guys. Really appreciate you guys getting in the chat. Everybody, have a wonderful rest of your night. This was a fun little under 20-minute impromptu one more sleep. LAFC2 begins LAFC's Open Cup defense tomorrow, March 19th, 7:30 p.m., Titan Stadium. Love y'all.